Hello and welcome to Sega News Bits. I'm Barry. With me is George.
Hello, everybody.
And the Sega Genesis Sega Mega Drive Mini has had every game announced for it. We thought there were going to be 40, but there are 42. That's two more games for us to play. So we're going to run through every single game. We're going to talk about each one for 20 minutes. We're going to run through all the games, and then we're going to talk about the new ones that were just released. But let's run through them real quick. So here we go. Ecco the Dolphin. And maybe we'll just like make a sound or a brief comment on it. Ecco the Dolphin.
Yeah. Good. I like it. I like the game, but it's been everywhere.
Yeah. Castlevania Bloodlines.
I like this game, and this is a good choice. I like the third-party stuff.
For sure. Me too. Space Harrier 2.
Oh, yeah. This is a good game. I mean, it is everywhere, but I like the game.
I think it's underrated, and I like that it's a launch title from the Japanese Mega Drive, so, I mean, I think it's an important game. Shining Force.
We've seen it a lot, but I think Shining Force always deserves a little love in these kind of collections.
For sure. I wish we saw Shining Force 2, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like that one more. Dr. Robotonic's Mean Bean Machine.
It would have been nice to have the ROM with the Japanese version just translated into English if you wanted to play Puyo Puyo, so they, celebrate the franchise. But this is nice because for us, this is more nostalgia.
For sure. Toejam and Earl.
I mean, we just got the new one, so it's nice to be on here. I didn't expect it, so that was a cool surprise when it was announced.
Yeah, it's a good two-player game, too. I like to see more two-player games in this collection just because they're forcing a second controller on us in America.
Yeah.
So, you might as well. Comics Zone.
This game is really, really hard. It's in a lot of collections, but I like the style, yeah, that's why I like the game. I think the aesthetics really push you forward.
Sonic the Hedgehog. I think this one makes total sense. It's a classic.
I agree.
I mean, yeah. Altered Beast.
I mean, it was a launch title in the US, I think. So to me, I guess that's an important thing for it to be on here, but I'm not a personal fan. I think I've said it before.
Yeah, I think we're both not big fans of Altered Beast, which means SegaBits doesn't like Altered Beast. But it is important because it was a pack-in title, just like Sonic the Hedgehog. So if you owned a Genesis in the US, you likely have fond memories of owning this game. Next up, we have Gunstar Heroes.
Yeah, this is a great game. Treasure did a good job. I think it's a classic. It's one of my favorite Sega Genesis games, so I'm happy that it's in here.
Same here. Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse.
I'm very surprised because, Mickey is a brand name from Disney, so I'm happy that it's in here.
Yeah, it's a really important game for the console, so I'm very happy to see it. I'm also happy to see the sequel, World of Illusion, which is a great two-player game, and my only complaint is that Quackshot is not on here, and that's kind of seen as like the third game in the Mickey Donald sort of adventures on the Genesis, and I don't see a reason why it shouldn't have been on here, which is, I think, a real shame. It's very underrated.
Very surprised that there was even two Mickey games, to be honest with you.
That's true. But moving on, we have Thunder Force 3.
I like Thunder Force. It's a really hard game. I think it's not for everybody. It's probably not too nostalgia-driven, but it's nice to see that Sega remembers they bought this they bought the publisher out, and they own the rights to this, so it's nice to see it in here.
Absolutely. Super Fantasy Zone.
This is cool because this is the first time we see it in the US, and since it's our icon, obviously this is probably one of the more important titles, I guess, because it's not nostalgia driven, but it's nice for people that never enjoyed it.
Oh, for real. And I mean, what I really like too is Sega has been using Fantasy Zone a lot more recently, and I think people, when they look at our website, they see Opa Opa and probably think we're building off that. But honestly, I don't know if it was you or I, but like, we started putting Opa Opa a lot on the website early on. Remember the Favicon? I think that was you or Will. And then I put him in the new logo, and we were like, this is kind of weird that we're using this character that people don't really know much about. And then all of a sudden Sega starts using it like crazy, and it's like, hey, it works for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Shinobi 3.
This is a really good game. I think this one is way different than the other ones that came before it. I know there's a lot of people that consider this the best one. I think it's a different game, but I really, really like it. It's they take the formula of the other games and they add a more action twist to it. and I think it's important to be in here.
For sure, and I think it's interesting too that there are a lot of big name SEGA IPs in this collection, but not full franchises. So like Shinobi 3 is the only representation we get, just like Streets of Rage 2, the next game here, is the only representation of that franchise. Are you okay with the fact that like big name franchises are only getting one title for the most part?
I think people would have complained if they did it with only 40 titles. Can you imagine, like, 6 titles would have been just reserved for Streets of Rage, Golden
That's
Axe,
true.
So yeah.
That's true. Earthworm Jim.
That was surprising because, like, I just read that the owner of Earthworm Jim gave up the rights to the game, so somebody else owns them. I don't know if that's what happened here and Sega got it, with them. They're making a new game, and it's exclusive to some console plug-and-play thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just happy that Earthworm Jim's in here because I remember playing it as a kid. It wasn't the greatest game; it was kind of hard, but the aesthetics and stuff, I thought it was cool. I like the design of Earthworm Jim.
It's very great sprite work on it. Sonic 2.
Oh, I mean, this is an important game. This is the one that made Sonic feel like Sonic. I think the first one was an experiment, and they screwed around with it. This one has obviously Tails, 2-player modes. It just loaded. I mean, this had to be on here.
For sure, and I mean, when we ran our poll for the top 100 SEGA games, if my memory serves correctly, Sonic 2 was number 1. So
yeah.
It's a beloved game. It's a great game. Sonic 1 had to be on here. Sonic 2 had to be on here. It's a real shame that 3 and Knuckles are not due to legal issues, but Sonic 2 is a fantastic game. Great 2-player experiences again, too. This one confuses me. So, is this real? Wait. Where? I just screwed up the list. I was going to say Probotector. I was like, this is not in the US collection. Contra Hard Corps.
It's hardcore, apparently. Somebody told me in the comments. It's like Army Corps, but yeah.
Oh, hardcore.
Yeah. So, this game is hard. It's a multiplayer game, though, and I really like Contra games. I mean, growing up, I sucked at them, and I remember when I was a kid, one of my friends had a Super Nintendo with the third one, and he would always make me go play with him, and it was so frustrating because they were like, move a quarter inch. What is this? But yeah, this is those type of games.
That's cool.
But they're fun to play with friends and, communicating on the couch. So this is a great game for this collection.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it, though I don't like being corrected about how I say things, so I don't like this game.
Okay. That works.
Landstalker.
I haven't played too much of Landstalker, so this is one of those games that I'm looking forward to playing more on here. I know it's been on other collections, and I kind of skip it for the, the classics. Usually when I buy these collections, I play the multiplayer games, and I kind of move on. Mm-hmm. But I'm probably going to play this when I get it.
Yeah. Mega Man: The Wily Wars.
This is one that we wanted when we did our first video on the Mega Drive, and we're like, what do we want on these mini collections? And I said this game, Mega Man Wily Wars, and a lot of people were kind of mad. Apparently, they're gonna fix the slowdown issues that they had. I guess there was something to do with the way, I don't know, the frame rate was. Apparently, M2 is supposed to fix it, so it might be an even better version. I kind of want to see that. So this is just
cool.
the first 3 games with I think an extra unlockable. So yeah.
Nice. So it's technically 3 games.
Yeah, technically yes.
Cool. This one's a little controversial. Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition. Why are people a little upset about this one?
It's because they gave us a 3-button controller, and this game is a 6-button controller game. If you play it on the Sega Genesis with a 3-button, you have to press start to move from kicks to punches, which is annoying, obviously.
Oh. Yeah. Sonic Spinball.
Sonic Spinball is the first, cartoon-based Sonic the Hedgehog, or at least the only game to even mention the Western cartoons. Mm-hmm. It's an okay Spinball game. It's obviously not going to be like the greatest thing. I mean, if you're looking forward to a Sonic game, this is a Spinball Sonic game. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't hate it and I don't love it. What about you?
Yeah, I believe I got this for my birthday, and it was kind of an important game for me. I understand why, Sonic fans will really love a certain game that a lot of people see as being kind of subpar. And in the case of this one, I remember first playing it and being like, this does not control like Sonic. But as soon as I got into the pinball stages, I just thought it was really cool. Great sprite work, great music. And the ties to the cartoon was really cool. There was a comic book, and there was also a episode of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog that tied in. So I like that. I like synergy. Next up, we have Phantasy Star 4.
Oh, this is a classic. I think this is the easiest, most accessible classic Phantasy Star game. Some people say it's too easy, but I think now people, when they play RPGs, they're there for the atmosphere, the story, the music, not really to be challenged and playing the same boss over and over and grinding. Mm-hmm. So if you want to have a good experience, this is probably the easiest one to get into.
And it's the best representation, would you say, of the franchise?
I think so. Some people would say no, but I think it is.
Cool. We have Beyond Oasis.
This is another one of those like Zelda clones. This one's made by the guys that did Ancient, the guys that did Streets of Rage 2. Yu Hakusho worked on this one. I haven't really played it that much, so this is another one I'm looking forward to playing on here.
Cool. Ghouls and Ghosts.
This game's hard, man. It's unforgiving. It is nice that they're putting it on here because I do know a lot of people that really like this game on the Sega Genesis. I just find it to be a really, really tough game. It's going to be interesting to see people yell about this game.
We got Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle.
I don't really like this game at all. I think it's a bad choice. What about you?
Yeah, it's kind of a forgettable platformer. There's some better games in the collection at least, so it's not. I don't know. It does feel like it's kind of taken up a slot for something that's
Quackshot would have been better.
Yeah, I would have rather had Quackshot. Sorry, Alex Kidd. Golden Axe.
I love Golden Axe. The first game is like very nostalgic to me. I have a lot of history with it. A lot of my cousins played it. I think a lot of these kind of like Genesis beat 'em up games, there were 2 players. That's what kind of got me to play games with my extended family. So to me, they're always going to be nostalgic, and I always welcome them.
Yeah. Vectorman.
Oh, dude, I love this game's style. My brother has a tattoo of Vectorman, by the way. So, I mean, it isn't the greatest game. It's really hard. It has a lot of levels, but I just love the style.
How about Wonder Boy in Monster World?
That's an interesting game. I'm surprised they picked this one and not 4, or even, I mean, I guess you can't get the Master System one, but this is an interesting one. I haven't played this one that much compared to the other ones, because I don't think they released this one that much. Maybe I think they put it on the Steam collection, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I've watched some gameplay and I played a little bit of it like a long time ago, so I guess I'll refresh myself when it comes out.
Now, here's the new ones that were just announced today. We have 12 rather than 10, which is kind of a nice surprise. So, like, if there are a few games in this collection where you're like, oh, I wish that wasn't there, you know, at least we get 2 more, so, Tetris.
That's cool. I mean, Sega Genesis isn't known for Tetris, but it is nice that it's on here. I've never played the Sega Genesis version of Tetris, so I don't know if it's any good.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was seeing a lot of people go, oh my god, wow, and I was like, I mean, I knew it was on the system, but I never thought much of it.
I thought there was like a history with it where like Sega made one and then like they would revoke the license or something like that. I'm not really sure about that.
It'd be interesting to play it. Darius.
This is a pretty cool shooting game. I'm surprised it's on here, especially for the US. I didn't think it was that popular, but it's a surprise for sure.
What do you know about Road Rash 2?
Road Rash 2 oh dude, Road Rash is such a good game on the Sega Genesis. I haven't played the sequel. I think I only played the first one on the Sega Genesis, but I rented it and I used to always play it. Basically, it's a racing game, kind of like Outrun, but you hit people off the road, so it's fun.
Yeah, the box art's pretty hilarious. Alicia Dragoon.
Oh, this is like a swords and sorcery game. I've never played it before. I've seen the cover, but it reminded me a lot of Golden Axe, the art.
Yeah, it looks pretty interesting. I'm glad it's not like your standard RPG, so it's nice to get something like this. I never really thought of it, though, as something to be in this collection, so it's nice to be surprised.
Yeah.
We have Columns, which is, it's a decent puzzle game. I'm actually kind of surprised it's on here, given we already have quite a few puzzle games, including Tetris. But,
yeah.
It's fine.
It would have been nice to have 3 with the cool European cover.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We've got Dynamite Heady.
Oh yeah, I mean, another treasure game. I kind of would have. I mean, they always put this one instead of all the other ones. They did so many Sega Genesis games, but this is a good pick. It's an obscure game for sure.
Absolutely. And this is one that I've been wanting on this, and I'm so glad it's on it. Monster World 4. And so this game never released to the West. It received a translation, I want to say in the last 10 years, for Xbox Live Arcade.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, did it get like a single release on the PS3?
I think it got a release on both consoles. I'm not 100% sure. I know for sure on 360.
Yeah, and it might have been on WiiWare, I'm not sure, but it's really great to see it receiving a wider release like this, and I'd love to see Sega put their efforts into another game. Like, I'd love to see Rent-A-Hero translated. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it looks like that's probably not going to happen, but that would have been cool. I mean, it's an important game too. Next up, we have Strider.
Yeah, it's a cool game. I don't know if the Sega Genesis version is the same as the other versions. I only played it on PS1, but Strider's pretty cool.
Now, this one's kind of a letdown in my opinion. Like, this is the waste of space. Virtua Fighter 2.
Yeah, this is a waste of space. Next.
I don't know. They keep pushing it. Kid Chameleon.
I think this is another one of those. It's kind of like a waste. Like, Kid Chameleon has become a meme on the internet for how, like, 90s and outdated and edgy it is. So I don't know why they put it on here, but what's your opinion on Kid Chameleon?
It's a fine game. I'm sure there's people who have a lot of love for it, just like Altered Beast or something. It's no Altered Beast. I think it's a decent game. It's just, it's an early Genesis game that hasn't aged well. Light Crusader, or yeah, what is that?
Light Crusader, is that the RPG game? I'm pretty sure it's an RPG.
Remember. Yeah. It's like a 3/4 view RPG game. It's fine.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I feel like they're just trying to stick a few RPGs on here that are easy for them.
But I didn't. The one thing, I always hated these games with the isometric view. I never liked them on the Genesis. Every time I would look at the back of the box art and they had that, I'm like, nope, I'm not buying this. And I think that's why I hate Sonic 3D Blast.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Here's the last one, Eternal Champions.
That's a very interesting game because it's like, okay, so it's their Mortal Kombat, Sega's Mortal Kombat, or answer to Mortal Kombat. They promoted it a lot when it came out. It was pretty hyped when it came out. Personally, I don't like the game. I know there's a lot of people online that do. Some people tell me to play the Sega CD one. It's better. Maybe they should have just put that one on here. But what is your opinion on Eternal Champions?
I think it's an important game just because Sega was trying to maybe not take on Mortal Kombat, but kind of have their answer to it. And I prefer the Sega CD sequel, but it's cool to see this game getting some play. And again, you know, to say it again, 2-player games are important in this collection, so I'm glad they have another one. Now, there are exclusives. However, it looks like the US and Europe are getting the same games. There's just a few name differences. But Japan does have some games that the US does not. And so we're just going to run through real quick the games that Japan has. So one is called Game no Kanzume Otokuyu.
Hell yeah.
Next we have Musha.
Ooh.
Which is a good game.
Yeah.
Powerball, known in Japan as Wrestle Ball. Namco game. Looks cool. Yeah. Puyo Puyo 2.
I mean, we should have got this one.
I know. That's a shame. But again, I'm importing the Japanese one, so I'm actually kind of glad there is a fair amount of games that are exclusive to it.
Same.
Puzzle and Action Tant R.
It's a game.
Well, it's a Bonanza Brothers game, though, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
The Revenge of Shinobi.
Which we should have gotten here.
We should have. I don't know why it wasn't, but I mean, we'll be saying that about a few other of these too. Assault Suit Lanus.
I played it on the Sega Saturn. It's cool. It's a good game.
Okay. Landgrisser 2.
Never played it.
It's a tactical role-playing game, so it's probably going to be hard to play if you're an English speaker. Lord Monarch.
Never played it either. You?
I haven't. It says here it's the 7th installment in the Dragon Slayer series.
Oh, we had to play all 7.
I know. I like this one, Slap Fight.
Oh, yes. This is not about slapping. It's like a plane game, so it's weird.
Yeah, it looks cool. I'm looking forward to trying this one out. Snow Bros. I like Snow Bros.
I don't think I've played it.
It's kind of like a ripoff of Mario Brothers Arcade. It's fun.
Oh, nice. All right.
Speaking of brothers, we have Dyna Brothers 2. I know nothing about that.
Same.
And then we have Monogradius 1.
Oh, that's one of my favorite Japanese games, right?
It's a role-playing game. Party Quiz Mega Q.
We're never going to play this game, so it's a quiz game.
We definitely aren't. And, yeah, no way. Rent-A-Hero.
I mean, we should have got a translated version of this. It would have been cool.
We should have. Yeah, it's one of the few fan-made, like, cartridges I own is the English translation. I played a lot of it, actually. I was surprised. The Hybrid Front.
Never played it.
Yeah, turn-based RPG. And then we have Yu Yu Hakusho. Makyo Totsutsu.
Yu Yu Hakusho. It's an anime. It's an anime. But yeah, I love the anime. I thought the manga was good. So I'm excited to play this because I played it before. It's a treasure fighting game. It has kind of bad graphics, but it's fun to play. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. And then we have some games that Asia is getting. The rest of Asia, we call them. And they're actually getting some good games, which I think should be on the US one as well. Alien Soldier.
That's a good game. It should be here on the American one.
Outrun 2019.
No, I'm okay with this one staying here. We should have got an Outrun, though, on the other one.
But it's 2019.
It is 2019, so it would have made sense.
Puyo Puyo.
We should have gotten the second one.
Yeah. And then Sword of Vermilion.
Sword of Vermilion is the same thing as like Rent-A-Hero. It's made on the same engine, same studio. It would have been cool to have Rent-A-Hero because I think it has some charm to it, more charm to it. So yeah.
Yeah, Sword of Vermilion is kind of forgettable, and I even read an interview where Yu Suzuki was like, he distanced himself from it. He's like, it's not really a Yu Suzuki game.
That's not good.
No. And so that's the list. Like, man, that's a lot of games. Did I miss any? No, please say no.
No. 42 instead of 40. Does that make a big difference to you?
It doesn't, but I think it's a nice little marketing move because they're like, oh yeah, we'll throw in 2 more games. Because you compare this to the NES or the SNES Mini, and it just puts them to shame.
Yeah, and they still have a lot of hits under their sleeve. Like, if they really wanted to, they could be like, oh yeah, randomly we're going to announce another game, and then just make it 45, but like slowly announce them, like one every month until it comes out.
Knowing M2, I would not be surprised if there was like a hidden game.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised. It's going to be interesting because I feel like they're putting a lot of effort into this. They're even getting Yuzo Koshiro to do this theme for this. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming that the menu is going to be, hopefully, having a lot of surprises.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. And then we had a few little bits of news, perfect for Sega News Bits, and it was these accessories. So they are, from the look of it, just aesthetic. It's a Mega CD that you pop on the bottom, and then a 32X with Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 1 that you pop in on the top.
Yeah. And
do you think this is cute?
I think it's incredible. I mean, I'm one of those guys that, you know, when we were growing up, a lot of Super Nintendo fans, at least where I lived, they used to make fun of the way the Sega Genesis looked when it was all stacked up, you know? They're like, oh, it's all fat. It's not powerful enough, so you need all this crap on it. Yeah. I love the way it looked. It looked like a beefy boy, you know? Like, it's like powered up. It's this final form. It's like Frieza, you know?
I like beefy boy. That's a good name.
The beefy boy Genesis.
What do you think of the price? It's about $36.
Actually, that's not that bad. I thought it was going to be more expensive. I mean, I know it's just aesthetically, but I'm just saying I've seen some retro stuff that costs way more, and it's like way less plastic or whatever they're going to make this with.
Now, I did see on online, I think AmiAmi.com or whatever, they're selling a Mega CD like look-alike that you put under it, and it's actually an HDMI switcher.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. And then there's a cheap one on Amazon that's like made out of cardboard, and it looks like a Mega CD, but it's a drawer you open up and you put your controllers in there. So there are other options. I think it would have been cool if this thing did one of those things. But aesthetically, it looks fun. I'm going to try to get those. And is there anything else you wanted to say about the Mini?
No, I think we've covered everything. I think I'm going to get the US one and the Japanese one, so Sega just took my money. Even though we complained about these plug-and-play consoles, when it comes to the Sega version, of course, we're going to be hypocrites. You guys should have expected that.
Yeah. And we hope you enjoyed this Sega News Bits. I guess it's extra long and beefy today because we haven't done one in a bit, so enjoy it. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon. You can get some exclusive content. You get early access to Sega Talk, which happens every other week. And that's about it.
See you guys next time.
Yeah, that's it.
Bye.